What a beautiful view from up here. Today there's less wind, so I decided to come back up here. What is shooting me right now is the Canon C100 Mark II with the 18-55 4-5.6 IS STM. This lens should have good autofocus with this camera and also face detection, so chances are I'm in focus right now. I'm pretty harsh litten, I know that. The sky is blue, there's a lot of haze and fog because it was pretty cold tonight. But today I want to compare this camera to the a6700 look-wise, not function-wise, because this camera is a totally different contraption. This camera has so many buttons and is so customizable. I really enjoy using this camera so far. And of course it is not a debate whether you should buy this or the Sony a6700. This camera is a video camera and the a6700 is a hybrid camera. Both kinda APS-C formatted. But it is about the looks, and I want to compare if this camera with the same lenses looks more beautiful, more pleasing to the eye, more filmic than the a6700. So today we will try out the Reston Pentacon 50mm 1.8 on both cameras, and we will try out the Nikon 24mm f2.8D lens. So let's see which camera looks better. And there we have it. This is the Reston Pentacon 50mm 1.8 at f4. I set the 6-stop ND filter that is internally in this camera. This is pretty nice, pretty handy, but still, of course, shooting in C-Log with an 850 ISO, it's way too bright. So I had to stop it down to f4, but it doesn't matter. f4 is still good, I think. So this is what it looks like. I think the look is pretty filmic. I should be in focus also. But even if I'm not, it still looks pleasing. The first videos I made with this camera, they looked very, very pleasing. Not overly sharp and not overly contrasty. They just look pleasing. Someone told me a while ago, it was a year ago, and said, it feels good or it looks pleasing, has no value. But I think it has. It is more important than specs. What do you want with specs? In the end, you buy a lens that fits your needs, but not specs-wise. You buy a lens of what you think looks good. You buy the lens or the camera that gives you the most pleasing image. So it has to feel good for you. Subjective. Right? Some might say this looks awful because it is not that contrasty or that sharp. Others might say, well, this looks pleasing. And it looks old because this lens is old. And this camera, well, it has some years. It is some years old. And the combination, I think, for me, it looks very pleasing. So let's see what the exact perspective, I will not change anything, with the a6700 looks like. So this should look somewhat similar at least. It is so much lighter, of course, than the big c100 II. I know, this is pretty lightweight, and of course the a6700 produces great images. But it is the feel it has to it. The a6700 has, I don't know how to describe it feel-wise. It is a small camera, small and light, and it has no real feel to it, you know. All the camcorders, at least when I grew up, I'm turning 40 and beginning next year, and when I grew up I was used to heavy cameras and old camcorders or film cameras that had some weight to them. This camera, these are so lightweight. The Fuji X-T3 is so light and so small. I don't know, for me it just does not feel right. Of course, if you're younger and you grow up with these compacts, then this is a big camera, the a6700. But for me, back then the cameras, they all had a feel to them. They felt like a camera and they looked like a camera. Yeah. But I digress. So what do you think about the look? So we've seen the 50mm 1.8 at f4 on both systems. To your right you have the C100 II, and to your left you have the a6700. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these two cameras with the same lens. Let me know which look you prefer. And also like and subscribe. This is the a6700 with a Nikon 24mm 2.8D lens. This lens was reasonably priced, and I wanted to supplement my lineup of the D lenses, and I thought this might look somewhat good. And you can mount this on the C100 with an adapter. It's a bit of a flimsy adapter, but it functions, so you can use, or you could in theory use, your Nikon glass in manual focus, of course, on the Canon C100. Well, I think this lens, it might be useful. We will see about that. And on APS-C, it fits all right. So we got about 35mm 36 of focal length. As you can see, it's a beautiful view here, and this camera produces such great images. The a6700, well, I just do not like the look that much, but there is nothing wrong with it. It produces great images. Now we will switch to the Canon C100 and see if it will give us the same amount of good image as this one. So, and this is what it looks like with the same lens and the Canon C100 Mark II. It's not a fair comparison. S-Log3, C-Log, the first one. The image looks more pleasing in the monitor already, but I have not seen it graded, so I don't know. Well, I of course do not regret buying this camera. The more convenient the system you use gets, of course it is more easy. But sometimes the discomfort has something pleasing to it, at least for me. And I think some of my viewers are a bit older, like myself, and they remember using camcorders, they remember using film cameras. You did it with a camera without any AI features. You did it without a camera that has you in focus constantly. And this is, I think, the nostalgia about these cameras. When this camera came out, of course, I could not afford it. I was about, how was I? Oh well, I wasn't that young. It's about 10 years ago, 12 years ago. But using these cameras, it was inconvenient. I had a photo studio and I was shooting pictures mostly. And using this right now, for me, it's a very pleasing thing to use it. And I'm glad that I got it. And I really enjoy the look. I will now do some B-roll footage with this camera, with this lens, I think, with the 28, so that you can have a good impression of what this might look like. And I'm not in the shot. So, let me know what you think about the looks. Oh, and to compare it, to your right, you got the a6700, and to your left, you got the C100 Mark II. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below what you think about this camera. And what do you think about the looks? Which look did you find to be more pleasing to your eye? Of course, it's subjective, right? But I really enjoy this camera so far. All right, so then now let's get some B-roll done, because the colors are just so beautiful, and I really enjoy these colors. Would be better if the sky would not be that clear, but that's enough. It's enough to shoot something. So, one love. See you in the next one. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned. Oh, and I forgot. There's one last thing to check out. Since I'm pretty good and harsh-lidden, we can try out if the face detection works with this lens. So I will do some stupid things here, and to see if the face detection with this lens, I paid about $40 for that lens, functions. And from what I can see, it at least guards me and it follows me around, so it should be able to track me and it should be able to focus on my face. This will not function with every Canon lens, most likely not with your L lenses. This functions with the EFS lenses. These lenses are not good. These are consumer lenses. That does not make them bad, but they have variable apertures, and there are not a lot of options of good lenses for the EFS mount. Of course you can mount the regular EF lenses, yes. But of course, they are more expensive and you won't get some features that you get with these lenses. And I do not see why. I do not see why they did it, because this is a professional camera and people want to use professional lenses, right? Why? Oh well. Look at that. Let's see what happens when I go out of the frame and come back into the frame. So, I think it will now focus into infinity, and then I come back. Is it better than on the Panasonic S1? I seriously think so. That's kind of embarrassing for the Panasonic. Alright, the face detection functions, I believe. Does it? Yes. It does. And it's so fast and pretty accurate. It's way better than on the Panasonic S1. That's a shame. Alright, enough of me. Now get some nice scenic clips here with a 28mm f2.8D from Nikon. Last but not least, this is what the internal handle stereo microphone sounds like. Oh, there's some... what is that? Oh no. This looks like raccoon duty. It follows me everywhere. Well, is there any 3D pop with this lens? Let me know in the comments below.